Joining us once again is Benedict Rogers, co-founder and chief executive of Hong Kong Watch and Wanted Fugitive. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So, Hong Kong authorities have threatened you, a British citizen, with life imprisonment for violating the Hong Kong national security law. Why don't you tell us what happened? Tell us a story.
Yeah, well, about a month ago, we realized that our website, the website of Hong Kong Watch, was blocked in Hong Kong, or at least partially blocked. People found ways around it, but people were informing us that it was blocked on a number of servers. And we press released that, and we, I think quite legitimately, made an inquiry to the Hong Kong government to ask what the explanation for blocking our website was. Obviously, we could guess, but we wanted to hear from them. And then about a week ago, we did hear from them. And I woke up in the morning to receive actually two letters. Firstly, a letter from the Hong Kong police, and then that was followed by an email from the Hong Kong National Security Bureau. But they both effectively said the same thing, which is that our website, and by implication the organization, poses a threat to China's national security, violates Hong Kong's national security law, and that as the co-founder and chief executive of the organization, I was personally held responsible. They wanted us to take down the entire website within 72 hours of receiving their letters, and failure to comply would result in anything between, one letter said between a year and life imprisonment. The other one said 3 years and life imprisonment, and a fine of 100,000 Hong Kong dollars, which is the equivalent of about 13,000 US dollars.
Well, I mean, hey, at least they gave you a chance to right your wrongs before having to go to jail for life.
Yes, I that's right. But obviously, we've chosen not to take that option.
Why wouldn't you just give in to pressure? Wouldn't that have been a little easier?
I think that would have been the worst thing to do. I think that would simply encourage them to use this kind of tactic against many others around the world, and then eventually, even yourselves would be offline if they continued.
I mean, there's so many crazy things with this story. I mean, just first of all, the idea that now, people have been concerned that, China's Great Firewall would come to Hong Kong, that, the outside internet would be essentially cut off. Do you know of many other, websites that have been blocked in Hong Kong the way Hong Kong Watch has been?
I know of a number of others, but I don't think I'm aware of any other foreign organization. I think it's mostly been websites by Hong Kong groups.
I mean, you should really feel proud. You are making so many firsts. You were essentially the first Westerner to be denied entry to Hong Kong. That was before the national security law, right?
That's right. That was back in 2017.
This is essentially the first Western website that's been blocked in Hong Kong, and you were the first Westerner to be targeted by the national security law.
Did you do something to Carrie Lam? Did you somehow offend somebody personally? It seems very much like they've decided to target you specifically.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, obviously, I have been quite critical of Carrie Lam. It's also one amusing development linked to this, and I don't know if there's a direct link, but about maybe a month or 6 weeks or so ago, you remember the case of Christine Lee, the person who MI5 accused of infiltrating and basically spying for the Chinese regime in the British Parliament and the British political system. And I had commented on that. And in response to that, Regina Ip, a prominent Hong Kong pro-Beijing politician, former Secretary for Security, tweeted saying that it was outrageous that the UK was accusing Christine Lee of these things. And if the UK insisted on doing so, Hong Kong should, in retaliation, apply the same charges to me. And now they have. So
this is interesting.
Specifically you, she said you in the tweet.
She said me in the tweet, yeah.
Wow.
I'm trying to follow the logic of what you said, but it makes no sense to me.
No. I get it. You know, it's clearly something personal with you, Benedict. And you know what they say: hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. What did you do to Carrie Lam? I think you broke her.
And Regina Ip? Both?
Well, I'm assuming she's acting on behalf
Okay.
of Carrie Lam, like when you get your friends to.
Oh, okay.
So what did you do, Heartbreaker?
Well, actually, when I lived in Hong Kong many years ago, I lived there for the first 5 years after the handover from 97 to 2002. And I worked as a journalist then. And I remember I did write some articles very critical of Regina Ip at the time. And I wonder if she has a long memory. I do remember she complained to my editor at the time. That was at the time when Hong Kong was still a free and open city under one country, two systems. And my editor's response was just to laugh and told me about it. But so Regina Ip and I go back a long way, I guess.
So do you know her personally?
I don't at all. I've never met her.
Have you met Carrie Lam?
No, I haven't.
It feels like Regina Ip is the kind of person who would probably remember a journalist who, criticized her.
Yeah, I think that's the only explanation, is that she secretly had a crush on you and your articles broke her heart.
This was going in a different direction than I thought, because I was like, hey, Benedict, are you in the CIA? Like that would be, I would assume the next accusation, right?
Well, CIA doesn't make sense. Wouldn't it be MI6?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but they obviously work together.
Yeah, we're together. Before the podcast started, I told you we aren't the BBC, so this is clearly not the kind of interview you normally get. But so to get us back on track, I think like a lot of people will hear this as, well, first of all, I think a lot of people aren't necessarily clear on the fact that the Hong Kong national security law technically applies to everyone on the planet. You were the first, but technically anyone could be charged with breaking the national security law and, being charged a fine or being sentenced to life in prison. This really, and now I think a lot of people would think that's laughable. Like you're probably not going to end up in a Hong Kong prison for life. But this is a really clear example of how China uses legal warfare against the world. And I think we need to talk about why this is actually a really worrying development.
Yeah, absolutely. As you say, I think it's their ability to enforce this is very limited. I think in practical terms, probably the one thing I do need to be careful of in a worst case scenario is travel to countries that have extradition agreements with Hong Kong or China.
Like Russia.
Like Russia, exactly.
Yeah. There's Kazakhstan, Belarus, there's a few of these great nations that have extradition treaties. Mongolia.
Yes.
If you're trying to get close to China, yeah.
That's right. I assume North Korea probably as well, but
there goes your North Korea vacation plans. I'm sorry.
Exactly. But as you say, the National Security Law, Article 38, I think it is, says that you can be anywhere in the world. You don't have to be a resident of Hong Kong to be in breach of the national security law. It's the extraterritoriality clause. And we all commented on that when the law was first imposed and said this was a very dangerous article in the law. But I don't think I ever believed that they really would go this far as to use it. I thought that the bigger danger would be for exiled Hong Konger groups. I thought they would be the most likely targets. But to use it for the first time against a foreign national and a foreign organization is, quite a surprise.
I was really upset when I heard this story. When I heard they sentenced you to life in prison for violating the national security law, I was furious. Why not us?
Yes.
Right?